Hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. England have lost to the Springboks in their final game of the autumn. I was here at Twickenham in what was a pretty awful afternoon from an England perspective. Brilliant way to end 2022 for the Springboks. So in this video, I'm going to react to that, just my observations. I've just been speaking to Eddie Jones and Freddie Stewart as well. So kind of what they got into, what they saw. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also drop a comment down below. What do you make of this England team? They say that they are building nicely towards the World Cup. Their results don't necessarily reflect that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, let's get into it. So England 13, South Africa 27, a scoreline which South Africa deserved. They were completely dominant, really, the Springboks, in terms of how they executed the game, in terms of how clinical they were when they got their opportunities. And this raises an awful lot of question marks over this England squad, because it leaves them with a record this autumn of just the one victory, and that was against Japan. They lost to Argentina on the opening weekend. They've lost against the Springboks on the final weekend, and they had that draw against New Zealand, which, if it wasn't for a remarkable comeback, and congratulations to England for that, it would have been another defeat as well. Now, the noises from the England camp, and I've just been speaking to Eddie Jones and Freddie Stewart, is they're frustrated. They didn't play well today, they admit that, but they still feel like they will be all right when it comes to the World Cup next year. But at this moment in time, do we have the evidence to suggest that? Can we believe that from what we're saying? And England might be all right at the World Cup. Look, they had a really poor 2018, and then when it came to 2019, they got to the World Cup final, and then along the way played some brilliant rugby. They may well be all right next year in France. But at the moment, there are question marks over this England team. And I thought they started slowly today. They actually had quite a good period right at the beginning of the game, but when I say started slowly, I mean in terms of getting points on the board. They haven't been efficient getting into games early on. They've allowed teams to build a lead against them in the last 2 weeks, and that was what we saw again today. They lost the aerial duel. Freddie Stewart was uncharacteristically dropping balls in that first half, and they struggled all day really to get a proper foothold in the game. And credit to the Springboks. I thought the Springboks did really, really well, but from an England perspective, there's no question that this is a disappointing way to end the autumn. And despite the fact of what the squad will say, that they are making improvements, that they'll be all right for the World Cup, I think it's absolutely fair for England fans to have their frustrations at this moment in time. And there were some boos at full time. Eddie Jones batted that away when I asked him about it and said he didn't hear that. I'm sure he probably did, but maybe didn't want to be asked about it. But those England fans pay a lot of money to come to Twickenham, and at the moment the side aren't delivering on the pitch. The Springboks, I thought, just won the key duels in the game. They won the aerial battle. They were very, very physical. England brought the physicality as well, as they always do. But overall, it was just a deserved victory for the Springboks. Curtly Aronza with an absolutely sensational try in that first half. And it was after that point, really, that South Africa started to just pull away from the game. They took a couple of drop goals, which I thought was really, really smart. Just kept building that score. And before England knew it, they were really having to chase the game, and they weren't able to muster the sort of comeback that we saw a week ago. Also, you look at the way in which England used the bench, and they spoke about it in the week in terms of their team selection, having Ellis Genge and Luke Cowan-Dickie, who have been starting this autumn, having them come off the bench and being their own bomb squad, like what the Springboks use, probably didn't quite have the impact that they would have wanted. South Africa, I thought, just did a pretty good job of seeing the game out, really. They were so animated down on the touchline. I was sat just by the tunnel, right behind where all the Springboks were, and they were so animated when they were getting the penalties, the energy they brought to the game. And I think that probably speaks to the frustrations the Springboks have felt have gone their way on this autumn tour. They had two really close defeats against Ireland and France, who are the best two teams in the world at the moment, in my opinion. Two games which they felt the officiating didn't go their way. I don't want to get into that. I've done videos on this channel before, and it's a topic which gets everyone so riled up, so I want to steer away from that for the time being. But my point is, they've had frustrating results on this tour, and I think they've come to Twickenham at the end of it after beating Italy last week and putting a really good performance in against the Azzurri. They've done a job on England at Twickenham. It's their first victory over England here since 2014. They did win at Twickenham in 2015 against other sides in the World Cup. But this is a big, big victory for South Africa. I think they are a team to watch when it comes to next year and the Rugby World Cup. We think about their autumn campaign. They could have beaten France. It was really, really close. There were maybe some dubious decisions. They could have beaten Ireland as well. It's not outside the realms of possibility that we could be sat here with South Africa having won all their games, and all of a sudden we're saying they're the best team in the world. They're also looking to develop their game as well, which I think is really impressive. Will Kelleher in the Times over in the UK did a really good article this week about the perception of how South Africa play and how they've actually been playing, in terms of everyone thinks that they kick the ball away the most, and they haven't this autumn. It's actually been France that have kicked the most ball away. England kick a lot of ball away, so do Ireland. South Africa, I think, have been trying to add some layers to their game, and maybe that's because it's the autumn. I know Eddie Jones has spoken about that and said he thinks that sides are trying things at this moment in time, just under a year out from the World Cup, to try and add things to their game before France in 2023. But I think we are seeing that with the Springboks, and I think that is a dangerous thing. It needs to put everyone else on watch. The Springboks are no joke, and I love some of the players they've got coming through. Curtly Arendse, I mentioned, sensational try. I mean, that was shades of Cheslin Colby in the World Cup in 2019. That's what I thought with that try. Him running down the right-hand touchline, just absolutely doing the England defence and scoring a sensational solo effort. The likes of Caden Moody, he came off the bench there. Evan Roos, who started at number 8 today. I think they've got some really good players coming into that squad, ones that we need to be keeping an eye on. But I mentioned that Curtly Arendse try, that came from England's kicking game not being good enough today, their aerial battle not being good enough. Freddie Stewart ran in, tried to make the tackle on Willemse, missed him, and there was so much space for them to attack to down the right hand side. So Springboks, congratulations to them. A tough year for them again, where they have had battles with World Rugby and the officiating. I'm sure that will continue, but a really good way for them to finish the year. As for England, where do they go from here? I think they have the skeleton of a side that could be something, but we have just not seen enough on the pitch to give us confidence that they're moving fast enough in the right direction. They talk about the attacking game and how they're trying to develop that attack. Freddie Stewart said to me in post-match they feel like it's almost just 1 or 2 passes more. But that's not good enough. Eventually they need to start seeing more results. There are shades of it where you think they can start really showing something, where the attack looks like it's doing something, but that has to click into gear in 2023. We really need to see improvements in that in the Six Nations, because I think they've got physicality in the team. I think England have strength in depth in the team, as they often do, but for whatever reason at the moment, it's just not going their way. Things aren't clicking. So, as I said in the intro, let me know in the comments down below what you made of the game today, what you make of this England team. Is it going to be all right on the night? Is it going to be all right at the World Cup? Surely we haven't got the evidence in front of us to give us confidence that that is the case. And also, Springbok fans, let me know what you think as well. A strange old month for your side, but 2 really good performances and results to show for it. You've come away you've gone to Dublin, you've gone to Marseille, and you've gone to Twickenham. You've only got 1 win, but you could have got 3 wins, and you've come to 3 hostile environments, and I think you've played pretty well. So I think there is plenty to build upon. I think England are in a bit of a hole, which I still think they could get out of, but England fans are absolutely right to have frustrations at this moment in time with what they're seeing from their side. I'll finish off now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. It does a massive help. I'm going to do a video tomorrow, which is Sunday, on the Wales-Australia game. What a result that was. I was here at Twickenham, so only saw bits of it, heard bits of our commentary as well on TalkSport 2. So I'm looking forward to watching that back, and I'll do a video on that tomorrow. Until that, I'll see you in the next one.